Boy. But I said to
I almost
myself,
want to stop and listen to it. I'm shocked.
why didn't I know it was this bad? This is my job. You don't hear a lot about them. I follow the news of the day like no one else. I can go through my entire show prep.
Just listen to this
every
for
day.
a second.
Bongino Report I read.
He's
I
talking
look at
about
the Journal op-ed
opiate
columns,
overdoses.
Breitbart,
He's shocked at
conservative
how many
reviews,
there is.
Blaze, a number of different outlets. New York Post, go through social media. It takes about 3-4 hours of reading every day to put together the show. And I'm thinking, how come I don't see more? You hear about it on Tucker Carlson's show, the gravity of the problem, but I candidly did not know it was this bad.
Anyway, what is happening, mediocre people of YouTube? Merry Christmas to you all. Really appreciate all you guys that have followed me for many years and really kind of made this little channel what it is. It is Christmas Eve 2021 and I am headed out to feed the animals. Yep, animals still gotta eat, even though everybody's with their families and everybody's busy. Animals still gotta eat. Welcome to the world of rescue. So I don't mind doing it. I like volunteering for these types of things because I don't know, I just enjoy it. My back is way out. Went on a streak here for about 3 weeks where I was doing pretty good. Going to physical therapy now, and I'm taking it serious, and I'm doing all the things that they tell me to do, and there's definitely been an improvement. Now, you have to understand that the kind of pain that I experience, even a tiny improvement is like a big deal to me. So, but I have to say I made improvements, and the last time my back went out, I crossed my fingers. I hope to God it doesn't get any worse than it is right now, because right now at least I can still walk for the most part. Being very careful, trying to be very careful about my posture. So if it doesn't get any worse than it is right now, this will be an improvement, because the last time I had this kind of thing going on, I literally could not walk. I was, in order to get around, if the little bit that I did get around the house, I was using 2 canes. I actually really needed a walker is what I needed. But, so, what is it? It's degenerative disc disease. It's basically wear and tear. I call it a little present from the demolition business. So maybe I'll put a picture of my x-ray up in here, because my spine is just jacked. My lower back is just, it looks like a friggin' car wreck. The disc and vertebrae and everything else. So anyhow, that's what's on my mind. It's not like I'm crying on your shoulder, it's just on my mind, so I'm talking about it because I got a little ride here, like before I get to the animals to feed them. A couple of them need medication too, so this is what I'm doing on Christmas Eve 2021. It's about almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in Detroit City. We're actually not in Detroit, we're in the suburbs right now. Actually headed towards Ypsilanti, Michigan, towards Ann Arbor. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base with you guys. I usually try to do, say Merry Christmas. Contemplating, I didn't even know if this channel would still be up, but Google and I seem to have come to an agreement, which I didn't have to make any changes or anything like that. I don't know if it was just a mistake or what it was, but they were certainly upset with me for the one video which mentioned the vaccine, and and I think they rewatched it because I was really just looking for advice, and I'm still looking for advice as to what to do, because I'd really like to get the vaccine, get it over with, and like I said in that video, I'm just scared to death to get that sick again, because that fucking illness, man, is no bullshit. If you get it, it's bad. It's like the flu times 5 probably, but you can't taste, smell, or breathe, which is scary. And if you have anxiety already and you can't breathe, it makes it even worse. Anyway, so all about you guys and what's coming to the channel next. In the last week or two, I was able to get my little studio a little more organized. I almost fucking sideswiped that guy. Get my studio a little more organized, and I'm happy with that because I just did not have time to organize things over the summer. So I've got some of my amplifiers and cabinets, basically the ones I'm using, the ones I'm going to use. I've got those kind of organized, and I've got my shop a little more organized. It's all of it has kind of a long way to go, but at least now it's not a fucking disaster as it's been the last 6 months. So I built the neck jig, the guitar neck jig, and we will have, we are going to demonstrate that. I have a perfect guitar that needs a fret level, perfect example of how to use a neck jig and why and all that stuff. So I will film that, show you guys that. Also, if you saw my post from a couple of weeks ago, I procured a Zenith radio. I believe it's a 1942 Zenith with the round dial on the front, and the glass is actually intact. It's not cracked or anything like that, which is cool. Haven't even plugged it in. Don't really know the status. Definitely gonna replace all the capacitors. I got to get the tubes tested, see how they are, and we're going to rebuild another radio. We're going to restore another radio, so that I will film that, and that should be cool. And this radio that's a pretty heavy-duty amplifier. It's got a 112-inch speaker. It says it's a 100-watt amplifier. I don't believe it though, because I think it's more like a 50-watt. But what the cool part of that is we're going to put an input jack on it so that we can plug in the tablet and shit, listen to podcasts, and we'll also have to plug a guitar into it and see what it sounds like. I have yet to plug my guitar into the other radio, just haven't got around to it. I really love that radio, just listening to podcasts through that tube amplifier. There's something about tubes and the way sound emits from a tube amplifier versus a solid state. There's something about it. There's a clarity about it that solid state, well, I would say has yet to reproduce, but obviously we're getting very, very close with the modeling stuff. So actually we are now in a time where solid state can reproduce that stuff. It's really amazing. But I'm definitely looking forward to restoring this radio. Probably going to plug it into the Variac just to see what it does with, before I basically shotgun all the caps. I'm certainly going to have to replace the filter caps. As far as I know, everything inside it is original, just like the other desktop radio or tabletop radio that I did last year. So I don't know. For me, it's just I got into radios, and I'm a guitar amp guy. I'm a guitar guy. So, but then you start thinking about the history of these radios. And hey, man, World War II. What was going on in World War II was all broadcast through that radio. Certainly people were listening to that radio for the news broadcasts, and we were talking about when the United States entered World War II. We talked I'm sure it broadcast Pearl Harbor. Can you imagine? You didn't have television back then, and you're hearing that Japan attacked us, and of course Nazi Germany and all that going on. Just makes me think, it's pretty incredible, the history that's been broadcast through those old radios. Really not that long ago, if you really think about it, in the grand scheme of things, the 1930s were not all that long ago. And the United States is a very young country. I'm going to mention Gerald Ray, because he mentioned me several times. Gerald's trying to get a podcast together. I think he's just trying to figure out what he wants to do, really. But, Gerald, at one time seemed like he was devoted to the Democrat Party. But maybe he wasn't, because he has since seen the light. And he, like myself, is holding all these fucking politicians accountable. Whether they're Democrat, Republican, doesn't fucking matter. Gerald's at a place where he's, getting more like me, where I don't care what party you subscribe to. These politicians need to be held accountable. The President of the United States right now, Joe Biden, needs to be held accountable as to why he reversed all these things that were working well for our country. Now we're getting up to $4 a gallon gasoline. A year ago we were at like $1.89, man. Come on, man. What are you doing, man? He reversed all those things despite, in spite of President Trump. Like, he didn't even read them and say, oh, you know what, this is a good idea. What's so wrong with putting America first? I have yet to understand what is so wrong about putting the United States first. And, this current Democrat Party is just outrageously racist. I mean, just blatantly and outrageously racist. Unbelievable. I mean, you talk about people like Adolf Hitler. I mean, you could start. It's getting to the point where this Democratic Party is starting to become a comparison. I mean, they are just pitting people against each other like nobody's business. And then on the Republican side, you got a bunch of other fucking lunatics over there who are taking things way too fucking far. And then under the flag of former President Trump, which, believe me, man, if you're a fucking nutbag, former President Trump doesn't support your nutbaggishness, okay? I think we can all agree, I would think we could all agree that, the United States, we should put ourselves first, take care of our own. We got a lot of money to pay back. We printed out a lot of money. That's another thing. They're blaming that. They're blaming inflation on the supply chain and COVID. And that's not. The supply chain has nothing to do with inflation. COVID, yes, because we printed out so much money. We gave it away. Everybody got checks, which was, hey, look, the United States, we were in a position where we could do that for our citizens, and we needed to do that for our citizens in order for people to stay alive. So I'm not in disagreement with printing that money and giving it out. It's just that we knew when we did it that got to pay the piper. We knew that inflation was coming. What you're looking at when we did that is called quantitative easing. So go look up that phrase, quantitative easing, and you'll understand, what it is and the results of doing that. The supply chain is fucked up because nobody wants to work. They all got a taste of free money for a year. And they're like, fuck it, man, I just want to stay home. People, it's incredible. You drive around where I live here in Michigan, and there's fucking help wanted signs everywhere. Everywhere. Starting at $18 an hour plus benefits. I mean, everywhere. You could fucking get a job on accident right now. And people are not filling those positions. And it's not because they're scared. I'm sure there's a few out there that are scared of the illness and all that, but most of them are just fucking lazy, I think, you know? It's time to go back to work, people, you know? Time to go back to work. You know, I'm fortunate in my business, you know, I didn't have to really interact with certainly more than one person at a time, maybe two. So, you know, I was fortunate. I didn't have to really think about, I mean, of course it's on my mind, the illness, but I didn't have to worry too much about it because I wasn't interacting with a whole bunch of people at the same time. So, yeah, man, we are in a fucking predicament right now, you know. I mean, we've got there has never been as much oil in the United States as there is right now. Our reserves are maxed to the max and waiting to be filled. Yet we're paying $4 a gallon for gasoline, $3.89. I was looking at just yesterday, $3.89 they were charging for gasoline. You know, and President Biden did this little bullshit thing a couple weeks ago. I'm going to release so many barrels. He basically released like 2 days worth of fucking oil. Look, we have oil. Let's use it so that people can afford to go to... Maybe that's why they're not going to work. They can't fucking afford to drive their cars to work. You know, it just gets really maddening and insane. There's just, it seems to be no common sense in this government here in the United States right now. Not only is there no common sense, you've got one party that's, you know, basically wants to go down the communist road. I mean, that's where they're at, man. I don't care. You can say what you want, but the Democrat Party is heading down the communist road. That's where they're at. You know, they call it socialism, but if you really look at their whole thing, it is like communist track. Communism has never once worked anywhere in the world in the history of the fucking world. Then you've got the Republicans who are just trying to maintain, it looks like for the most part, the Republican leaders are just trying to not allow some of these things to happen. In the meantime, it's like they can't even get to their own agenda because it's just a constant battle. And when we've got two parties in this country battling the way they're battling, it's the same old fucking story, man. The regular people like you and I, middle class people, mediocre fucking little tiny channel YouTube people, we get fucked. You know, that's just always how it is. So, demand, call your Congress people, and, you know, the next time you vote, think about voting for somebody that is closer to middle class thinking than these massive people that have been around government for decades upon decades, who have made millions and millions of dollars off of you when they're not even supposed to. You know, it's actually in our Constitution that Congress, people in government, not just Congress, but everybody in government, the salaries are supposed to be low. So, you know, you guys got to think about this stuff and, you know, actually sit and think about it. Don't inform your own opinion. Stop repeating everything. It just drives you crazy that people, you guys watch this propaganda every day, meaning the mainstream media, and you guys, it's just all that noise, and you can't hear anything else because you just got this noise going constantly. So there you go. That's what's on my mind right now. I'm getting close to where I've got to stop here, take care of some animals, and I'm going to sign off and wish you all a Merry Christmas. I'm going to try to pop in before New Year. I'd like to try to do a live stream, and no promises, but you know, I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to be able to rest a little bit this coming week, and hopefully my back will be better. I've got a therapy appointment this week. Not sure how that's going to go with the level of pain I'm in right now, but we'll see. I'm just trying to do there's the gas right there, $2.96 a gallon. So, okay, I said 389. 296. 349. Right there. $3.49 a gallon for fucking gas. Compared to a year ago, I don't know, $1.79 a year ago, which is still fucking way too high, $1 too high, you know? If you look back in history, you know, last time oil was at the price it's at, we were paying like 89 cents a gallon. And, you know, I take inflation into account. I don't expect to pay 89 cents a gallon, but goddamn, I mean, we've got the technology now where it should probably actually be even cheaper than that. And I'm talking about the price of oil today. Last time the price was this low, we were, you know, paying 89 cents a gallon. And we're at 349 right now, and we have more oil in this country than we've ever had in the history of the United States. Reserves top to the max to the max. Come on, you guys. Open your ears. Open your eyes and open your ears. Sit down and think about it for yourself. Form your own opinions. Think before you open that mouth. Which brings me to, real quick here. Oh boy. I watched somebody the other day. It was funny, and this guy likes to make videos about my channel, which is great because it promotes my channel. But he was actually talking. I don't know. Maybe it was just a joke. It had to be a joke. I mean, that's where I'm at right now with it. It's like it had to be a joke because he mentioned the Dunning-Kruger effect, and he's like, you know, guitar players think they know about amplifiers, and this is and then he starts speaking about amplifiers, and he's like the perfect example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. I mean, if he was serious, then he made like a complete ass out of himself. But if it was a joke, you know, then yeah, that was cool. And I'm giving you an out. I hope it was a joke. Because, God, it just made him look so stupid. And otherwise, he's not, he doesn't seem like a stupid person. He actually seems like he's a pretty smart guy. But, I don't know, he gets irritated with people. He's a communist, it seems to be. So, and of course, you know, when people smoke too much of that shit, they get what we call pothead ideas in their head. They just, they do it to themselves. But anyway, and I don't have a problem with people smoking weed. I don't myself, but, you know, it's all good with me. I'd rather see you smoke weed than drinking liquor and getting in your car and killing somebody. All right, people, Merry Christmas. I love you all. Peace out.